Hey, what's up, chicos? Let me go to. Hey, what's up, chicos? The one I can see you. Oops, let's turn down the volume. All right, say hi, check in. Let me know who's alive, who shows up on time. Jay Lord made the migration over. Jedi Feinstein made it. All right. Hang on. Okay. So the 7 most dangerous threats to your business right now. That's what I want to talk about this time. We go to live chat. Yasir made it over. All right. We got the people migrating over from the influencer track. Remember, privacy reminder, everyone. Only for the members of this Breakthrough You, please don't share these links or it will threaten your membership. Anyone else want to check in and say hi? Who else is on with us? Get my stuff ready to go. No one else want to say hi? Who's these shy people? This Jorge is in the house. You got your lovely bride with you, I hope. So anyway, okay, Rahman made it in. All right, good. So let's jump into this because I want to make sure we get through it all, and I like to leave time for you guys. All right, so when I say the 7 most dangerous threats to your business, I'm using that in the generic sense that, good, Jorge, the generic sense that these are the things that threaten this profession. And obviously I started this call for alarm with the manifesto. And I guess you could say this is kind of a continuation of that process for you guys in this group who are leaders in the space that I think you need to be cognizant of. And some of these are, how would I describe them? As specific things that I think you need to change in your particular organization, the way you're running it. So there's a couple of these, probably just 2 or 3 of them, depending on what you're doing, that would be specific changes you could make in your business model, in your business plan. And then others, the rest of them are things in the profession at large that we all need to partner and work together to fix because they threaten all of us. So let's jump into it. Number 1 is going to shock most of you, I think, because I believe the first thing that's a dangerous threat to your business right now is overtraining. Overtraining. And why I say this is, and this is one of those things that you can control, that it really is. It's about the culture in your business and how you're running it right now. Anyone else? I know we got more on, I can see. So if you want to check in and say hi, just let us know who's on and where you're watching from. You know, the analogy is the helicopter parents. The, excuse me. Excuse me. You know, the term comes from they hover all over their kids and they are afraid they're going to scrape their knee or fall down. And sometimes we just kind of let our kids make some mistakes. And that, you know, that's the lessons, thanks guys here, you know, the lessons they get. That's how they grow. And if we don't, you raise the most entitled, sniveling, weak, no self-discipline, no character, no whatever children as they grow up. And I think we have a tendency to do that in this profession. I think back of a guy I worked with who's a really, you know, he's a big name in the space, and Ann knows him well. We work together with him. Who, you know, he's a big name in the space because of, you know, he's a deal guy. He's always, you know, getting these deals, and he does certainly have some talent in, you know, he's a good trainer and he's good on the stage, and he does have knowledge of the profession. And he had just binders of like scripts. So he would have a script for prospects that you worked for them, and then he had a different script for prospects for people who worked for you, and all of these. And you know, I told him, I think you're crazy. I think it's just such overkill that it makes the business unduplicable. And that's really the results I saw with him. He was a guy, he was a superhuman recruiter. He was always throwing a couple dozen people into the boat every month, but they were jumping out the others, you know, other people were jumping out of the other side of the boat as fast as he could throw them in. And I think that was really the reason, because I felt like he overtrained the people, and they had a new member orientation, and you know, he led that, and he was doing those live every week at events and live online on the thing, and just trying to legislate every possible outcome. And I think that's killing us, and I think we need to simplify. And I was hoping Art Jonak would be on live, because he's really done an amazing job with this, with his, he works with the rap company. I can't remember the name of it. Somebody, what's the name of Art's company again? Somebody help me out. But anyway, so their signature product is this wrap that, you know, kind of a fat loss, fat burning, or sculpting. You know, I don't know if it actually, I don't think it actually burns fat or anything, but it, you know, compresses it in at least for a couple hours. And so women are crazy buying these wraps, and then they put them on for a couple hours, and then they can put on their dress and go to a cocktail party, and it lasts for a few hours or something. And they just, like, you know, so they have like this 3-word thing. It's like wrap something, repeat. And that's all they just got their people focused on. Wrap something, repeat. Wrap something, repeat. Or, you know, rinse, repeat, whatever. We need to get back to that more. I think a lot of us, we keep evolving as leaders. We keep developing our knowledge and our skill sets. And then we immediately want to transfer that newfound knowledge down to the group. And I think we're sometimes losing track of the fact that, you know, this is not something we should be training the team yet. This is a skill that maybe we should be doing at our leadership retreat that we do once a year, that only for the people who get to such and such rank, that's where we teach them this skill set. So just as your homework this month, I want you to just go back and look at the training modules you're putting out there, look at the system that you have, and just do a little critical thinking and ask yourself, have you overcomplicated this? Are you over training people so that they're doing training when they should be doing the business? Because remember, the real breakthroughs in the business are always when we have people learning, teaching, and doing simultaneously. Second most dangerous threat, and these are not in priority order, it's just in no particular order, 7 things that I think are real threats. And that would be social media landmines. Here's where I'm at on this, to kind of build on some of the things we talked about last month. We have to incorporate social media into our marketing plans. There's just no way not to. It is one of the most pervasive elements in our society right now. Everybody is, on social media. My mother is the last person on earth who doesn't have a Facebook page, okay? But everyone else is on one or another or multiple accounts. And where was I flying back from last week? I was flying from somewhere, and guy next to me on the plane in 4D had to be 80. And he got on the plane and he sat next to me. He's 80, 82, 83, something like that. I'm just looking at the guy. He had his iPhone in his hand, and it was actually it was the flight from Atlanta to Miami. So it was, an hour and a half or whatever. And that hour and a half, he was on the phone the whole time. So here's some 80-something-year-old guy. He knew how to put it on airplane mode. He was sending texts and messages, and he was watching videos. He didn't have earphones, so he would watch these videos, and they would be screaming and clapping or whatever. It was very distracting to me because he had no manners to use earbuds or something. But I thought, what a perfect demonstration of how different the world is. Because it wasn't he just read email or he read, I just kind of kept notice of kind of a social experiment for me. How savvy was he on this smartphone? And he was messaging, and he was watching YouTube stuff, and he was on Facebook, and he was doing, and he was going to other websites. So, at 80 something. So that's the reality of the world today. And this is the landmine, though, is because all of us in these nutrition companies, there are just a million things that, I'm consulting with a client now, a company with, they're in 40 countries. And God, we were just talking about the compliance issues of what we can say in the United States and what we can say in Belgium and what we can say here. And what I told them, and I think this is the bonus $1 million lesson for everybody in this group today. The extra lesson is, what I'm telling my client is, you have to list all of the countries you do business in, and then you have to pick the lowest common denominator of what you can say. So let's say you've got a protein shake, right? If the lowest common denominator is that you can say it's a meal replacement, great, you can say that everywhere. But if let's say you're in business in 40 countries, and 39 of them say that you could say this is a meal replacement shake, but one of those 40 countries says, no, you cannot say it's a meal replacement shake unless it has, 500 grams of protein, and yours only has 400 grams of protein. Then you cannot say it's a meal replacement shake. You have to pick whatever is the least offensive. In other words, what is the most restrictive regulation that you have to match, and that has to become the worldwide standard, because you can't expect that if you're in 40 countries, if you're in just 10 countries and 9 of them say everything's okay, you can't assume that the 1 out of 10 countries, that the people in that country are not going to use that claim that the other 9 are making. You're going to say, well, they only make that claim in, let's say it's that they're doing an event in Norway where it's okay to say it's a meal replacement, but in Sweden, you can't say it's a meal replacement. Then you can't say it in Norway, because the fact is the guys in Norway are streaming it on Facebook Live to their group in Sweden, and the people in Sweden are sharing it with their prospects. And you're not going to win the argument with the regulators to say, okay, we didn't say this in Estonia, we were only saying it in Germany, and it's legal in Germany. you're just not going to win that argument. So I think one of the things we're going to have to do as leaders, and one of the things we're going to have to do as companies, is one, this standard of the lowest common denominator. That's the only one that the official company line can be. And two is we're going to have to become very proactive, and we're going to have to create the content for our teams to use on social media. We're going to have to create slides and, you know, frames for their profile pics for Facebook, or specific language for their bio, and specific posts that they can put up, and then say, these are the only authorized posts you can make when you're promoting our company. Is, you know, here's the list, you know, and we have a website or app or link that has only the stuff that we could say, and that's what we're going to have to do, because this is so dangerous. You just, I know now, any single time I make a presentation, I know that somebody has got it on telephone right now and they're broadcasting it. That's just the reality. Anyway, even when you're just in a home meeting with 6 people and you think, well, I'm just, you know, there's only 6 people. And so I can say, now, I'm not allowed to say this on a stage, but, you know, I have a distributor and she had spinal meningitis. And when she ate 2 of these protein bars, her spinal meningitis cleared up. Believe me, it's going to go online. It's going to get posted somewhere in the tina.org or AG, or somebody is going to see it, and it's going to be a landmine that's going to blow up. It's one of the most dangerous elements of our business right now. Somebody say, hey, yo, whatever, let me know you're still alive out there. All right, number 3, overzealous regulatory oversight. This is really going to be an issue. Next 2 years, we're going to have to really sort this out, guys, because we had some really bad precedents set with VIMA, some really bad precedents set with Herbalife. I mean, if you look at the restrictions, and again, somebody say, yo, something, so I know, because I have this time delay and I want to make sure this didn't freeze up and that you guys are still there. If you look at the conditions that VIMA agreed to operate under with their, you know, they have things that are they have an administrator or trustee or something. I mean, if you look at what they're required to do, I mean, it's impossible for a company to do business under those kind of draconian restrictive things. Even some of the things that Herbalife has agreed to, I think are really limiting in a big, big way. And I think it will prevent them from ever being a serious player in the United States again. So we have some really bad precedents, and we can't allow any more to get set. We have to make the VIMA Herbalife ones the exception, not the standard. And so this is where a couple of things come to mind. Number 1 is we need to reinvent ourselves. And that's everything I talked about in the manifesto in terms of, you know, leverage sales and all of that. I think we have to go that direction. Who was messaging me? They were with some big trainer, and they were like, hey, I'm with so-and-so. Who is this trainer? I'm trying to think. I'm with so-and-so, and, you know, they want to say hi to you. I told them you were my friend, and, you know, and so this came up of me saying I'm going to leverage sales and I'm never going to use the name network marketing again. And they're like, well, they really, you know, they want to stay with network marketing and they believe that's, and I'm like, whatever, they can believe that. I think it's already dead. I think it's an issue, and we already lost that fight. And I really do believe that we have to reinvent ourselves. And the second thing is, and again, also what I said in the manifesto, we really have to be proactive, and we have to police ourselves. And we have to set the stage that there is certain behavior that is simply not acceptable in our profession, and we need to call it out. And because if not, this regulatory oversight is going to kill our profession. Number 4, the deal culture. This is so insidious, so pervasive, so omnipresent. I don't ever get a contact anymore from somebody in the biz who isn't looking for a deal. I don't. I mean, I always hear from people in the business, right? I have so many friends in the business and so many companies, right? I'm doing this for 35 years. And I've been to all the mastermind events and the major events, and I've spoken at so many conventions and met, so, I've spoken to more than 2 million people. So even if I might not remember them or know them, they know me, because, I'm talking to 10,000 people that I can't memorize all their names and faces. They're looking at one guy on the stage and they remember the name and the face. So that company goes out of business and, or has a real problem, and, maybe we chatted at a break and, developed a little friendship, had a few comments. So they contact me. Hey, I'm not sure my deal is going to work out. I'm looking at something else. I used to be 1 out of 10 of those conversations would say, so I'm looking for a deal. Now, it's 10 out of 10. People who have never done anything are looking for deals. People with no track record of success are looking for deals. People who have no organization, no check to protect, are looking for deals. Meaning, the kind of deal that I believe in, and I will always believe in, is a runway deal. That somebody comes to you and they say, okay, I'm making 20,000 euros a month in my company, but I've got a terrorist upline and I got to get away from them. But I can't walk away from $20,000 a month income. That's my lifestyle. I have my house, my car, my kids are in private school, my whatever collection. I need to, rebuild that. And I have some of my team that I believe they're fed up with what's going on and they're going to come with me. But obviously I'm not going to get them all, and some are going to stay. And they're going to, as soon as I come, the company's going to terminate me and take away my check. So I need a runway deal for 6 months or 9 months that I can rebuild my income, work, I think there's places for that. But there's people coming and they don't even have a check. Yeah, my company went out of business 6 months ago and, I need a runway deal, or they never built, they don't really have a check, but they think, hey, if I'm going to come over, I've heard there's all these deals and everybody's getting these arrangements and sweetheart deals and under the table deals, and I want one. And it's like 10 out of 10. It's, Australia, Asia, it's just cancerous. And even in Europe and the States now, I mean, it's just totally out of control. It's like 10 out of 10. And I'll tell you what I think we're going to have to do as a profession. I think we're going to have to kill binaries. That's where most of these deals are coming from. That's what most of the deal, the people looking for deals, that's what they're looking for, is they're looking for a binary program where they can be placed in a spot at the top of a line that's cooked. So they have one line completely built out, and then they can just double up all their efforts putting somebody in the other side of the line. And until we kill those binaries, I don't think it's gonna fly. I don't think we're gonna make the change. The program I'm working with, I was very instrumental in working with them on a new compensation plan that literally we just rolled out this week, a new one. And my contribution to a lot of that process was dramatically reducing the role of the binary. So it's almost insignificant. And it's such a limited part of the total structure that nobody would ask for a deal with a crooked leg because it won't mean anything to them. In other words, it doesn't guarantee them a great income because it's such a negligible part of the overall pay package. And we're going to have to do that all across the profession. And these companies that are set up now as primary or true binary companies, I think we're going to have to change that forever. We're going to have to kill the binary. I've always hated the binary. You guys who read the first edition of my Money Machine book, no, I felt the binary was created by con artists. It was a way for people to come in and have a 2-year run, make $60 million in cash, and run off to an offshore island somewhere after the company got closed down. And you had all these company owners who were putting themselves at the top of the pay plan, and their wife and their daughter in the first 2 spots, and their son and their sister-in-law and their parakeet and their dog in the next level. And they were basically locking up the first 8 spots in the structure, and then everything was, kicked back to them. And I think it's a total conflict of interest, and the binaries just invite abuse. And one of the things we're going to have to do as a profession, kill the binaries. So you guys who are in binary companies, you're going to hate me like poison, but I'm just telling you my truth. Number 5, event fatigue. This is a real danger, that you create so many events that people no longer build to them, and there's no sense of excitement about them, and they don't allow you to really build the business in the way you want to build it. Events are the glue that hold the business together, and this idea of having major events and then building to that major event, that's the magic of the business to me. And we've talked about this in some of the earlier shows, how you get in the ticket selling business. Like, I sell 2 things. I sell functional beverages and I sell tickets to events. So if you say, what's the whole essence of what you do in your business, Randy? I sell functional beverages to customers, and I sell tickets to major events to team members. And I think the danger I see is the mastermind event, which our own lovely and talented Art Jonak, founded and runs, is declining. It's a small, intimate event, and then you have people out there doing these major events with thousands and thousands of people. And those events are pitch fests, and they're basically putting 60 speakers up there, and everybody's pitching something from the platform, and everybody's getting a cut of the tool sales, and half the people presenting don't know what they're talking about. They have never done it, or they did it 30 years ago, or they're just sleazy con people. And so the caliber of events, and the same thing is happening. There's all these online events and streaming events and Facebook Lives and webinars of training that, again, they're created to take money out of your people's pockets and they're created to compete for people's attention. And that attention is coming from the time that they should be doing the business. But it's the nature of human nature. If we have this option of actually doing the business, making a call to a prospect who might reject us versus watching a webinar on how to call prospects, watching the webinar is the non-threatening thing to do. And if I do a 90-minute webinar watching, that makes me feel like I'm doing something proactive for my business. And this kind of ties together with the earlier point about overtraining. People are looking at events as substituting for work. And this is team events and generic events. So this is one of those ones that I feel like you do have control over in terms of the culture that you're setting for your team, is how many events are you actually holding? How many events are you asking people to build to? And what are the levels of attendance for people? You guys know, like, I feel like there should be a leadership event that's only for higher ranks that you do once a year. And one of the reasons is it allows you to do the high level training. But the other whole point of that is that the people who attend that have a different income level. They have a different skill level, and they have a different calendar, meaning they don't have a day job. They can go to Hawaii for a week for a leadership retreat because they don't have a boss with a day job that they have to balance how many vacation days they get a year. And they're making at least $10,000 a month. So it's not a big deal if they spend $8,000 on a trip for a once a year annual thing, and it's a trip of a lifetime with all these amazing memories, and they can leverage it with all kind of social media posts and selling the dream to people in the team, and it's probably a very good investment and a very good reward. We got to be cognizant of that. So make that part of your homework as well. Are you creating event fatigue in your organization? All right, number 6 and 7. These are really, number 6 is really a broad-based thing. It's not even just a industry thing. It's a world thing. It's okay, now I'm the old guy who's screaming, "Stay off my lawn" to the kids. I mean, now we have to recognize there is a new definition of business success today. If you grew up, when I grew up, it was a very simple definition of business success. You put together your money, your investment, how much you could, you had saved in your sock underneath your mattress, and you had, created enough of a nest egg to start something, and maybe your parents loaned you $10,000 or your in-laws loaned you $10,000, and you had this amount, and you invested it in a business, and you built customers to profitability. And then you were able to create a positive cash flow, and you reinvested that cash flow into your business to grow the sales, increase the profits. Then you reinvested a certain percentage of those profits back in the business to regrow the business more, to create even more profits that you could again take this whatever percent of the profits and reinvest it into the business, and you created this steady stream of growing profits and sales that became a self-sustaining, self-fulfilling prophecy of how to grow a business. That's how it worked for 200 years. Now, the definition of that has changed. Why? Amazon, Uber, ICOs, IPOs. Now the definition is raise money, raise money, raise money. Get investments, have the first seed round, have the second round, get the users to this point that we can get the third round. Let's get it to the point where we can go public and do an IPO. And nowhere along the way does anybody talk about profitability. Now, you have some people who have done this in an amazing way. And I'm thinking of Bezos with Amazon. I mean, it was really up in the air for years, right? There was so much money invested in that, and they were losing so much, but they were capturing market share. But not only were they capturing marketing share, but they were just realizing, saying, how do we lower the cost? How do we become more efficient? How do we develop technology that's going to make the business run better? How do we create technology that's going to help us acquire more customers? How do we create technology that's going to allow us to make a frickin' profit? And they did that. But, it's not, the unicorns are not 1 in 100. They're not 1 in 1,000. They're 1 in 1,000,000. And the problem is everybody's watching Shark Tank. Everybody's reading blogs. Everybody's watching Bloomberg and reading Fast Company and Inc. And all the talk is on raising money, doing IPOs and doing ICOs now with the initial, coin offerings. And what's completely out of favor is building customers, making a profit, having a corporate responsibility. So what's happened with this new reality of the world is this concept that they call super money. So if you're one of the people who are launching Google, you got these stock options. And they say, hey, no matter where the stock goes, we're giving you the ability to buy 1,000 shares at this price. And at the time those options are given to you, that stock is virtually worthless. But you're betting on that, hey, I think this technology will transform things, make a difference, and it will be worth more. And then the stock's worth $40 a share. And then the stock's worth $80 a share. And then the stock's worth $200 a share. And so these companies, like if you look at the competition in Silicon Valley now, it's all about the stock options. So a company like Google has super money because they can give you stock options that might make you a multi-millionaire because of the value of their market cap. And so if you're the startup company and you have a new app which is helping people who want to walk dogs with people who want to get their dogs walked, you can offer those options, those stock options to your potential employees, but yours don't have the value that Google does or Amazon does or Uber does or Airbnb. So they're actually playing with super money and you're playing with potential money. And so that's why Google can hire the best engineers and Amazon can get the best engineers because they're playing with super money that you're not playing with. And what happens is the only way these brilliant startup technology companies can really blossom is they got to get to the point where they're bought by Apple or Google or Yahoo or whoever, the people with the super money. And the perfect demonstration of this in our space are the the cryptocurrency deals that you see out there swamping the profession right now, because they're all buying into, they're tapping into this new definition of business success, which is, hey, we raised $8 million in our first round. Or, hey, we raised $300 million with our ICO. Hey, we're worth $1 billion now because of our IPO. And this is the danger. And this is what, you know, as a prosperity guy, this is one of the issues that I've been just sorting with. And that's why you heard on that money investment webinar that I did about, you know, what I'm doing for the year. I'm just out of the crypto space. I don't want anything to do with it because it's just, it's against my prosperity consciousness now. And I just said, you know, I'm going to stop chasing after all these unicorns. I don't want to do that anymore. You know, I grew up with this concept of you build a product that really gives value for the customers, and the customers buy it, and it makes your company profitable, and then you reinvest the profit in your company, you grow it, and you hire more people, or you hire more, you know, you work with more vendors, and excuse me, you grow the business even more and make it more in that self-fulfilling cycle that I talked about. And that's what I'm going back to for all of my businesses. That's the business model I know. That's the business model of integrity, and that's what I'm going to do. But one of the dangers that we face in this profession is this new definition of success. That, you know, you go to these startup things and these incubators and these founders, and nobody's talking about making a profit. They're just saying, hey, if we get to this many users, we can launch the IPO. Hey, if we get to this many users, Facebook is going to buy us. And nobody, and I think that's what's creating the problems in leverage sales right now, is that our people watch Shark Tank. They read these blogs. They see this, you know, they're watching Gary Vee's channel, and everybody's looking at how to hustle and grind and get on, but nobody's talking about the fundamentals of build a customer base, become a viable, profitable company, serve the needs of your customers, and do it the right way, the hard work way. And at some point, you know, that pendulum swing is going to come back the other way, and people are going to remember, yeah, you know what? You still got to do hard work, you still got to provide value, and you still got to provide profits to the stakeholders. And we need to be there when that pendulum comes back. All right, number 7, last thing to talk about, big danger for us in the space is the false prophets. And these are the events and the trainers and the consultants that are working in our space. One of the presenters at the mastermind event told his company, hey, you got to hire Randy Gage. We need to bring him in as a consultant. We have no duplicable system. Our marketing materials suck. We don't have duplication happening in the teams. Bring him in, you know. And so the founder emailed me, hey, I'd like to be in touch, you know, let's talk. And, you know, he said, do you have a book I can read? I said, yeah, read my Multi-Level Money Machine book and read my Mad Genius book. That's going to tell you who I am, how I operate, and if that's the kind of expertise that you want brought to your company. So 2 weeks later, he emails me back and he says, thanks, but you know, I've had a good relationship with so-and-so, and he wrote the name of some guy. So I think it'll be, you know, it'll be easier for the onboarding, so I've chosen to work with him. But thank you, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I never even heard of this guy. So I Google him, and it's just, he's one of these false prophets. It's a guy who never did anything in the business, but he sells himself as a consultant now. And we have so many of these prophets and false prophets and they are infecting your team. They're infecting your database. And it's a real danger. So we have people that are going to these fire walks and then joining coaching programs with these people and spending $30,000 a year to go to their, train the trainer things, and then they come back and they want to charge their own team members $5,000 to go to training. It's screwed up. We have failed leaders doing this. We have imposters doing this, meaning people who've never been successful in our profession doing this. And then we have these deal makers, meaning people who have achieved what looks like success because they were a Hawaiian Blue Diamond in ABC company, and Starfleet commander in that company, but nobody's actually looking to say, well, the reason they had that rank is because they got this sweetheart deal and they were placed at the top with a cooked leg and you know what I mean? So you got the failed leaders, the imposters, and the deal makers, and they're all doing training in our profession. They're all doing live events. They're all got a YouTube channel, and we're now at the point in the world today. One of the greatest things about living in this time is how anybody can be a publisher, anybody can be a blogger, anyone can start a YouTube channel, anyone can get their message direct to the marketplace. That is one of the greatest, that's why we live in the most exciting time in human history. And the other side of that thing is that anybody with a YouTube channel can present themselves as an expert to your team. Anybody with a Facebook page can present themselves as an expert in your team. Anybody with skills in Facebook ads can seriously infiltrate your team, get them off system, off course, remove the disposable income from their pocket, compete with the limited amount of time and resources that they have to work the business, and they can screw up your team. Anybody with skills in search engine optimization can do the same thing. So this is a real serious danger that we need to address. We need to address it in our teams, we need to address it in our companies, and we need to address it in the profession. So those are the 7 things that I think we've got to be doing the critical thinking on, that we need to be doing the work on. Because every one of those is really dangerous for your business and dangerous for our profession as a whole. And like I say, a couple of them are more specific stuff that you have more control over in terms of doing in your business. And some of them, we really have to partner together as a profession and change those. So those are the 7 things. I'm going to open it up to you guys in a minute. So you got any questions or whatever, write them in, type them in. But a couple quick reminders and bulletins. Remember, next month, we're going to start the new concept. I'm taking both tracks, and we're going to put them together in the entrepreneur track, and we're going to look at entrepreneurial skills, marketing, leadership, productivity, and just prosperity consciousness. So, and you guys really were excited about that. I heard lots of great comments in the group, so I know you're looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that as well. If you don't know, I started a podcast, the Power Prosperity Podcast. And somebody type that in for me, please. Power Prosperity Podcast. So we're on iTunes, we're on Anchor, we're on StatCast, we're on Outcast, we're on Stitcher, we're on Google Music, Google Music Play, whatever. This is really a great tool for your team. I would suggest do a post to your group, on your team site, in your Facebook group, in your WhatsApp group. Just tell people, hey, new podcast out. Actually, it's, okay, Herman, I love you and appreciate you, but your English spelling needs a little work. So it's Power Prosperity Podcast. But we will say your English spelling is better than my Spanish spelling. So yes, here, good. So I wasn't even sure if the episode with Bob Berg was in there yet. I'm glad to hear it is. So yeah, so what I'm doing is we're doing the audio track from the Prosperity TV. And sometimes I'm just doing a special segment just for the podcast. And like that event I did in Norway, we just took the audio track of that. So speeches I do, we're going to put that up. And then when it's special stuff, like when Bob Berg had the new book come out last week, I actually did an interview with him. So it's really good stuff. I'm figuring I'm probably going to do like 3 shows a week. So you guys know how important self-development is in our profession. So I would say promote that to your team. It's not all, just tell them, go search it on whatever podcast platform they do, Power Prosperity Podcast, because I think that'll help keep your people really focused and inspired. And then a quick commercial. A lot of you heard of this event I did called Tribal. It was the most powerful event I've ever done. And 3 days into it, I realized, okay, I have to do this every year. So it's for influencers, authors, coaches, speakers, seminar leaders, YouTubers, political leaders, people who want to build a tribe, make a difference. So this is a program that is appropriate for the people in this marketer track. I would suggest you go to this. Now, don't promote it to your team. This isn't for all of your beginning people, low-level people, low-ranked people. It's not for them, but for leaders, people who want to know how to be better on the platform, people who want to know how to be better writers, how to be better on video, better presenters. This program will be amazing for you. And because you're in the Breakthrough You program, you go to any public seminars I do that I promote, you get 50% off. So this is a $10,000 program, and you can go for $5,000. And I will finance for a year so that you can actually pay me out of the extra money that you earn from what you learn at the program. It's very intense. It's 3 days long, 12 hours a day, 15 hours a day. So the next one is in 2019. So go to tribal2019.com. And what I'm doing is literally all you have to do to reserve your spot is give a $500 deposit. And then there'll be no other payments until a month after the live event. So in other words, the event is going to be in March in 2019. Or is it April? Actually, let me look and tell you for sure. Yeah, March 28 to 31, 2019. So, and your first payment won't even be due until April. So the idea is you come to the event in March and learn how you can, really do stuff that turns into cash flow. And then I will finance it for the next year. So tribal2019.com. I promise you that event will sell out, and you need to reserve your spot. And your top leaders reserve their spot now, okay? That's what I wanted to share with you this month. Happy take any other questions or comments you guys got. But your homework is these 7 things. I want you to really do some critical thinking on that, and look at how do you protect your team from these issues, because they really are the issues that I think are threatening us right now. Anyone got anything, any burning thing they want to talk about? Yes, Yasir. What is the question? I hate this delay. What's up, Yasir? Are you typing? Anyone else have a question in the meantime too? Yasir, you have a question? Type it. Speak now. Okay, here we go. Okay, still thinking of people outside the Breakthrough You program. All right. And what's the question now? No, they're not. They gotta be only members that they only have one discount. That's it. And the only discount is the people who are in my Breakthrough You program. They get 50% off of every public program that I do. And speaking of which, I'm doing something really sexy with Eric Gamio that you're gonna love for you and your team, but I can't tell you more about it right now or I would have to kill you, but watch for details in the group. Remember, the only thing would be, Yasir, if you're coming and you bring your spouse or your webmaster or your partner with you, it's normally 3,000 more, but you could get it for 50% off. So it would be 1,500 more if you brought someone with you on your registration. So hope that answers your question. If not, hit me up in the group and I'll be happy to answer it. All right, guys, thanks for being on. Do the critical thinking this month. These are serious issues and we're going to have to deal with them. And remember, and I think I'm probably going to do the same thing with this track. I think for the brief this month, I will probably flesh this out and make it the brief where we go into depth on these 7 things. Yes, so it would be $6,500 total for you and your person you bring with you. And you can finance it over the period of the year. Okay, good deal. That's the best deal you're going to get in your entire life because that event is life-changing, transformational, and it really will sell out. So you need to reserve your spot, you guys, okay? Yes, for you it's $5,000 and $500 is the deposit. All right, guys, hope you have an amazing month and look for the brief sometime by next week, I think. All right, guys, have an amazing day. Peace.